Is the new Dune Part 3 trailer the greatest trailer ever made? That's what we're here to discuss today here on episode 3 of One Movie After Another. I am one of your hosts, Sean, and I'm, of course, joined by my other incredible co host, Mr. Joseph Curios. Joseph, how are you?
I am doing fantastic, Sean. Thank you for asking. This has been a pretty interesting week for movies. Obviously, we'll be talking about a trailer here as our main topic, and I'm very excited to do that. There's actually been a couple of pretty great movies that we have in the theaters, and one movie in specific. You know what? I'll just save that for near the end. Um, but overall, yeah, it's been a good week. Personally, life's been pretty good. I just got done filming 60 hours of work for youth camp. Yeah, you heard that right. It
Wow,
was a
that's
long
crazy.
week, but hey, I get 2 days to basically 2 days off this week, so that's really nice. I get to go to Canada and experience the Odyssey. I'm actually watching it tonight. By the time we post it, it'll be Monday morning when we post this. But I'm excited for that, and I'm excited to see it again in Canada in IMAX 70 millimeters. So life is lifing right now.
Hmm.
But I love it. Love life. Love my wife. Love my dog. Um, and yeah, nothing really to complain about. So back at you. How are you doing, my friend?
I am doing good. This week was my third week of being in Chicago now, and it's been a total blast. I've been doing a lot of exploring around town and seeing, what's there to offer, whether it's movie stuff or like food places. I found this really great hot dog place yesterday. It was awesome. Chicago's got banger hot dogs, so I was very happy about that. And I'm a huge hot dog person as a baseball fan. I always, love having a nice hot dog. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with that. Still been at work and still getting used to that. This week is actually gonna kind of stink though because instead of going into work at 8, I have to be at work at 7,
Oh,
and I have to get up at like 5:30. So I'm not excited to do that, but it's whatever. It doesn't really matter to me as long as if I'm getting paid and I'm having a good time doing it, I'm totally in. And I am lucky enough to have that job, a job that lets you do that because a lot of jobs it feels like a job, but this feels like it's just having a good time. So
mm,
that's been good. I've been watching. I mean, I watched obviously a couple movies that we'll be talking about: Evil Dead Burn, and The Invite. Those are two that we're going to talk about, and then we'll talk about Moana later, as late as possible, hopefully. But
sorry.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm sorry for you. I'm just
Hey,
excited to
at
hear
least I
what
got
you have
Regal
to say.
Unlimited. I got Regal Unlimited,
Yeah.
so I only spent 50 cents, so I'm okay.
Oh, nice. Yeah. That's the only way I would go see it is if I had like AMC, A-listers pass, or like having the Regal pass, or even the Alamo Draft House pass. But
I don't know what you're
that was
waiting
funny. They
for.
weren't.
You should get it, dude. It saves you money. With how much time you're probably going to spend in the theaters, it really does save you
Yeah,
money.
it's true. It is very true. But at the same time, like the closest one that's like a movie theater where I can do that is the Alamo, and it's like a 30-minute walk.
Oh,
And I mean, it's not that bad. I can definitely do it. I got strong legs, but
come on.
it can get
You're a
annoying.
young
But
buck.
hey,
You got this.
I know. I'm complaining. I just got out of college. I don't know what I'm talking about. But let's start. Let's get into what we want to talk about today. I don't want to keep going rambling about all my city life and whatnot. But it's this past week. If I'm guessing most everybody knows, it's been a big deal if you're a movie fan, and if you're listening to this, you definitely know that the latest trailer for Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part 3 has dropped. The second trailer, first trailer dropped a couple months ago, and that was what I was absolutely blown away. If you know me, you know how much I love Dune. You know how much I love the books. You know how much I love the movies. You know how much I love Denis. Like I am primetime Denis Glazer. Nobody glazes Denis like me, and that can come out that can sound so wrong in so many other contexts. But if you're listening to this, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But Denis, favorite director of all time. The Dune movies are two of my favorites ever made, and seeing that first trailer was unbelievable. And I've been counting down the days since. And now we have a fuller trailer that came out I think on Wednesday,
Yeah.
and I actually got invited to go see it early, but I couldn't go because I was working, and I was really mad about that. But at the same
Duty
time, it was
calls.
gonna
Duty calls.
yeah money calls, and I wish I did, but at the same time, the trailer dropped the exact same time it was going to drop on YouTube anyway, so that didn't really matter. But I was able to watch the trailer while I was at work, and kind of like the first trailer, I just this feels like more of a cinematic event than like any Avengers movie, any Star Wars movie. This just feels it even for a general audience, it just feels so built for this decade. This is the event of the decade so far, and everything from the trailer just screams this could be the next like Return of the King kind of situation. This is what the Star Wars prequel movies wish they could be, because it kind of follows the same thing
Yes.
that George Lucas wanted to do with Star Wars, which was ultimately a ripoff of Dune anyway, because the book's released in the '60s,
Yep.
and it just it's so I can go into so many different details, especially as a person who's read the book. But we get a lot more of the story now. We get a lot more of the characters, and everything just looks absolutely gorgeous, unbelievable. Linus Sandgren coming in, taking over the cinematography from the wonderful Greg Fraser. Shout out Greg Fraser. Linus has brought his own taste to it with using real film and not having it just be digital, which I have no problem with it just being digital. But Linus only works on film, and man, it has a whole different flavor. And I think for this movie in particular, it makes sense because of the subject matter and what's going on. And if you've read the book, you know it. This is going to get pretty dark and disturbing. Not even just like imagery, but like the details of what the story has to offer. And for people who don't know about the story, I think it's gonna shock people. I think it
Oh
really
yeah.
is. So
Oh yeah.
very, very, very excited. But yeah, I mean overall I it looks absolutely incredible. The to see how much Denis has grown as a director just through these three Dune movies, as well as Timothy Chalamet and portraying Paul Atreides. It feels like you've grown up and seen him for so long, and you can see like the growth of him just throughout the three movies. Like he looks the same, but he looks and acts different in each one, and I think that's just a testament to a great actor. So I could go on and on. I don't wanna go too long though, because I want you to obviously say what you want to say. So I'll let you take it away and ask you, what did you think of Dune Part Three's latest trailer?
I honestly everything you said I agree, and the decision to like I was sad when I heard Greg Fraser was in the difficult position of Batman Part 2, Dune Part 3. That must be like oh my god. Talk about two amazing projects. Like you want to do both. Realistically, you know he can't. But I believe he chose correctly, because what we got was Linus, and the
Mm-hmm.
decision, like you said, like I feel like it feels like a very organic flow from what Greg did. He laid the groundwork of the world of Arrakis, of um, of this beautiful and haunting environment, and the way Sangren has like just captivated just with these two trailers, just like and even the images that they've released, it feels the same but entirely different. Um, it feels even more mature, and the groundedness, but also the even like weird sci-fi nature of the story is there still. especially with what they're going to do with the character of Jason Momoa. And I have been
Yeah.
so hyped for Jason to come back because a lot of normal people probably were shocked that Jason was back. They were like, wait, what? But I've read most of at least the canon books from Frank. I didn't read the books from his son. I believe his son is the one who kind of continued the legacy. But
Yeah, yeah, he wrote like him and some other dude wrote like 10,000 books
yeah,
In the
so
Dune
there's
series.
so much lore, like, and I
Yeah.
love it. But it just it feels like just organic to have. I don't know, like you look at his lineup, like La La Land, First Man, No Time to Die, Babylon. I know it's your favorite movie, Wuthering Heights. That's the movies that
Mm.
Linus has done. You
That
hate
was
that.
the only good thing I had to say about the movie was that Wuthering Heights. The only good thing about Wuthering Heights was that it means that Dune Part 3 is going to look incredible because
Oh,
Linus absolutely it is I will admit, yeah, Wuthering Heights is a beautifully shot movie, even though the movie itself sucks, in my
yes,
opinion.
that shot with Jacob on the horse with the red background. That's Linus, and knowing what he is capable of, and just how gifted, like he has a God-given talent to capture things through a lens, and
Mm-hmm.
to know that they were going into this next project, the final conclusion,
The
the
epic
ultimate
conclusion.
the epic, yes, sorry, the epic conclusion to what Denis wants to go for, and just seeing this trailer, it paints a picture of, oh, I get why Denis, because he wasn't even supposed to do Dune Part 3 right after Dune Part 2. He was going to do something else and then go back to it, but because of how the fans and the critics, like mainly the fans, just had this overpouring love for Dune Part 2, he had to go back. And it looks like he is pouring his heart, his soul, just from these two trailers, but specifically this one. The first one gave you a taste. This one gives you a bit more of the story, and I just thought it was a very wise decision to give us Chani's perspective immediately, because really it focused on Paul for the first trailer. You still get Paul, obviously, in this, but it really sets a tone with her being like, I trusted you. And you basically came into my home, and now you have destroyed everything that I've known and loved and cared for. Wow, where have we seen that in a lot of culture? Even in
Yeah.
America. It's relatable, and it's something that it's just heartbreaking, but then you take it to this big bombastic space opera level that clearly you see the parallels, like you were mentioning with the prequels. You even see more of the parallels of a man that you wanted to become the hero, but now they are becoming the very thing they swore to destroy.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that beautiful parallel of, like, Anakin. People are going to compare this to Anakin's turn when, sorry, Dune
It's been
came out
Paul's turn the
first.
whole time. Yeah,
Yeah, it's been Paul's turn.
yeah. Anakin is just Paul, and then Leto the second, which is spoiler alert, that's his kid. I mean,
Yep.
you see it in the first trailer, so like it's not really a spoiler, but
It,
in Leto is Luke Skywalker, but also absolutely not. Like, it
Absolutely not. Yeah,
absolutely not.
if you
No,
get
no, no,
deeper,
no.
oh, it just gets it. I honestly really am curious if they ever go deeper into the Dune movies, if they ever want to pursue those other stories, because it gets wild.
I
Um,
don't think they ever will, just because
it
of how crazy it gets. Like,
yeah,
it's
it's
not like you can't comprehend what's going on. It's the fact of it's just what is going on
yeah,
exactly is like
yeah.
is just in and of itself kind of crazy, and
Oh
the
yeah,
amount of time it spans too is wild. Because like the first two books, or I guess you can even say the first three books, take place in the span of like maybe like 40 years max,
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
then you get down the line and it's like 10,000 years in the future,
Yep,
and
yep.
it's like whoa,
Dramatically
where did we
different.
just dramatic shift?
Yeah,
Absolutely. It's like it's not even about the Atreides anymore at that point. So, and that's what I think. I don't think they'll ever do like a Dune, uh, like God Emperor of Dune, or I mean, they're probably gonna have parts of Children of Dune in Dune Part 3, but
that's
I
what
don't
I'm
think
thinking
they'll go
too.
the full extent. I don't think they'll do the full extent.
Yeah,
Um, And then way later down the line, like we're not getting heretics, we're not getting chapter house. There's no way.
Yeah,
I just think it's too weird for general audiences and is not as exciting.
it is too weird, and but I mean, if this movie makes 800 million, 700 million, and it's like 90% Rotten Tomatoes, and audiences love it, and it's getting all this Oscar buzz, Denis might be done. You know, this is his last time directing, and he said that. Like, this is his final goodbye. I could see him attach himself as a producer for some things. I don't see him coming back to write or direct. But man, I'm just telling you, it's greed. At the end of the day, Warner Brothers will look at this and be like, but we have another franchise. We can make more money. I hope they
Yeah.
don't, because I think this is just a beautiful way to bookend the movies, at least. Sure, go for Dune Prophecy season 2. Like, I'm fine with that. The show was pretty decent. I liked it. It wasn't as good as the movies, but
Yeah.
I'm okay with that because it's not the movies. It is something else. But I agree with you though. It is trippy, but that's what people said about Dune in general. They were like, this movie is insane to capture. I don't know how they're gonna do it, but then they did it. But it's a whole other thing when you're talking about God Emperor of Dune and what they try, what Frank was going for
Yeah.
there. Um,
Yeah.
but overall, to wrap it up, I love this trailer. It was epic. The music, the continuation of the war chant that Paul screams out with his
Hmm.
every just breath, that you can feel it. Like when I was watching the trailer and I finally played it on my TV because I was at youth camp, I experienced and reacted to this monitor at youth camp while the kids were gone, and I was out there just chanting with it. I was going crazy. But seeing
Yeah.
it on a big screen TV, and I can't wait to watch it in theaters. The trailer, I heard they're going to show the prologue for the Odyssey, the
Yeah.
7 minute prologue. Oh my
And you
god,
get
I
to
need
see
it.
it, and you get to see it, and I'm really mad about that. I am
Hey,
really mad about that. Are you kidding me?
I
That's
I
bullshit.
I just live a blessed life, I guess. But like I said, I love this trailer, and I
Give me some of your
really
blessings. Come on, this is not fair.
I'm trying, man. I'm sending them your way. But
Thank
I
you.
just love this story because it is a cautionary tale about false messiahs, or we put all of our chips in one bag and look what happens. And the idea of people using religion to manipulate a culture of people, I think that's very fascinating, and we've seen it in history. And Frank obviously was very and Denis too is very, like, wants to capitalize on that, and even more with this story of Dune Part 3, which is clearly borrowing some things from Children of Dune, which I am fine with, because there are elements in there that you need to bring in order to bring a true conclusion to this trilogy, to make it satisfying. And I think they had to change some things, because clearly they are. The poster alone
Hmm.
is changing a lot of things with Chani and him.
Yeah.
Although I have some theories, I still think they're going to do certain. I don't want to say spoilers here because obviously people haven't read the book if they haven't read the book, but I think they will overall keep the theme of what the book was going for, which is a cautionary tale of
Oh yeah.
a
Absolutely.
hero. But there are some things with Chani that they're going to do differently, but I think they will also still keep the same. And I am fascinated with what Denis is going to do, because I loved his changes in Dune, and now I'm curious what he's going to do with Dune Messiah. And I'm just beyond excited for Hans Zimmer's score. I hope he doesn't get the treatment that he got for last year's Oscars, with how he didn't meet the requirement for a nomination for Dune Part 2, because however much the percentage is for, oh, this is a sequel, well, we can't nominate this score. That was such crap.
That's
Um,
such. It's if it's the best score, it's the best score. It doesn't
yeah,
matter. Like it doesn't matter if it's in a franchise or not. Like Star Wars gets nominated every single time. Like when the Force Awakens, Last Jedi came out, like it was. I'm pretty sure it was nominated back to back, unless I'm completely wrong about that. But even so, even before, like you had, I mean, for the Lord of the Rings, I don't. I think they actually didn't nominate between the movies. They nominated Fellowship and they nominated, I think, Return of the King, but they didn't
mm,
nominate The Two Towers because
Two
of the
Towers was so
franchise.
good though.
They're
That
all so
is,
good. They're so good. All right, yeah. Well, here's the question. Here's the question. Just
mm,
based on how this trailer looks and the trailers that we've seen, I'm not saying it'd be the greatest trilogy of all time, but
Mm.
if Dune Part 3 ends up being as good as Dune Part 2, at least, do you think it's in the question of top three trilogies of all time?
I'm saying this: if it's as good as Dune Part One, it'll be considered the greatest, like top three greatest science fiction trilogies, or even just trilogies. I I really do believe that, yeah, if they hit this, dude, if they hit this, this is going to be, personally for me, the best science fiction trilogy of all time. It's going to beat Star Wars for me, and that's really hard. I'm talking about the original trilogy, but
Yeah, yeah, I would hope so.
that of course I was talking about the sequels, Rise of
Oh yeah,
Skywalker. Let's
yeah,
go.
of course.
I I've been thinking about that for a while. I personally believe Dune Part One and Dune Part Two are both masterpieces in different ways. I know that majority of people would probably agree that Dune Part Two is far superior, and Dune Part One was a great setup, but it was maybe a little slow, but still an amazing movie. I think they're both perfect. I give the edge still to Dune Part Two because it just took everything you loved and just blew it up to like 1,000 times more cool. And Dune Part
Yeah.
3 seems to be, which is actually a very
Doubling down
slow.
on everything.
Yeah,
Doubling down on everything that made Dune Part 2 so good, which is funny because in the book there really isn't that much
it's
action in
there
Messiah.
isn't that, and I think what he's doing is smart because you get a jump cut to after the war. They're going to at least give us some of the war. I'm not even expecting
Yeah.
that to be the first 30 minutes. I feel like maybe it really is just the first opening 10 minutes, and then we get to the consequences. Um,
Yeah.
and I want the drama. That's what I want, and that's what I loved about Dune Part One and Dune Part Two was also the political intrigue. So I think they're going to go back to that while still having plenty of action. But what made Dune Part One significant was the world building and the throne and Arrakis and who wants the spice. Like I was in love with that. And I think Denis is taking everything he learned from both of them and just throwing them out, going 100% crazy for Dune Part 3.
Mm-hmm.
So to answer you again, yes, I think this will be the greatest science fiction trilogy, and it will be considered a trilogy as good as Lord of the Rings or The Godfather. I I,
Well,
I
if
that might
if
be crazy.
no, no, I don't think it's crazy at all. I mean, I would probably put it number two trilogy of all time if it turns out the way that I hope it turns out, instead of like a Godfather situation where the first two are masterpieces and then part three is a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
But I think if all goes well, it has the same quality as Dune. Like, yeah, that's I should have said Dune, not Dune Part Two, because Dune Part Two is going to be a high bar to live up to. So if it
Yep.
meets the bar of Dune, like the first one, I think yeah, this is top two trilogy for me. I think number one is still always going to be Lord of the Rings. No
Yeah.
matter how much I might want, like I love Dune. Like I think Dune is like
But there's just
the
something about
the
Lord of the Rings. There's just something about it that you can always just go back to, you
there's
know?
just yeah, there's just so much magic in those movies, and Dune has the same kind of magic, but for different reasons. Where like Lord of the Rings is whimsical and fun, whereas Dune is more political and dark, and it's just yeah. But like that, like I said, I think having this trilogy coming out right now is perfect. It is the perfect time to do it, and we were able to get it in 5 years. 5 years
Yeah.
of Dune, which is crazy. And because I remember waiting for the first one to come out, and after it got delayed, I was so sad.
Oh, I
But
know, me
yeah,
too.
I'm thinking that if I had to rank it, I'd probably say Lord of the Rings would be number one, Dune would be my number two, and then number three would probably be Star Wars, like for all
Yeah.
time greatest
I
trilogy.
think I would because I don't want to say 100% for sure I agree with you because I want to take time to like think about other trilogies I love, but I'm going with my heart. I would probably agree with you. I if if Dune 3 really lands it, I would put it up there as number 2 because I do think there's just something about Lord of the Rings, and Star Wars was always the greatest science fiction trilogy, but I can't believe we live in an era where, like, let's just take a moment to think about that. We're now in an era where people are considering that there's something better than Star Wars, the original trilogy. That alone is just amazing. because I didn't think I
Hmm.
would ever be there. Honestly, at least I've never thought that. Like, oh yeah, nothing's ever gonna beat Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, A New Hope. Oh well, we're now
Now
in
we
that
got Dune.
era. We got Dune, and this is this generation's, you know, what should have been the quality of the prequels. This is what this generation gets to have, and I'm jealous of you guys.
Yeah.
But I'm still grateful that I get to have it. But man, if I grew up with this, I would eat it up.
Yeah.
So all you youngins, you are blessed right now. But
Yeah.
dude, yeah, overall great trailer. Can't wait for the movie. But I guess segueing into movies, I'm gonna let you start with this. What did you think of Evil Dead Burn? I am so
Evil
curious
Dead
to hear your
Burn.
thoughts on this, dude.
Yeah. So yeah, well, I guess let's just jump into the reviews. First up, we're gonna do Evil Dead Burn, directed by Sebastian Vanecek. Is that how you pronounce it?
I think so.
He
We
he's
apologize.
a
We
French
apologize.
he's a Frenchman. Yeah, Vanacek, yeah, Sebastian Vanacek. So he did a previous movie called Infested, which I actually watched for the first time a couple of days ago, and I was pretty impressed with it. Honestly, it
Yeah, I
had
heard it's
really
good.
great camera work. I've heard it has really great camera work. It has a very eerie atmosphere. That's it's a one location movie, similar to how the Evil Dead movies usually go, and it's a very intense, very like disturbing and unnerving movie because it's like I'm not an arachnophobe, but like this could have made me like an arachnophobe, and if you were an arachnophobe and you saw this movie, you'd probably have a heart attack. That's how that's the spiders are insane.
That's
But
my
yeah,
kind of
I thought he did
movie.
really his direction in that movie I thought was perfect for what Evil Dead is, like fast paced with great camera work. That's what Sam Raimi did with the original. And so we get Evil Dead Rise a couple of years ago, and I thought that was really great by Lee Cronin. And I was like, I was chomping at the bits to see what's going to happen next. I mean, we had Evil Dead Burn announced, and then we also had Evil Dead Wrath announced, which comes out I think in 2 years. So going into this, yeah, I had not I wouldn't say my expectations were like sky high, but like I had pretty solid expectations of what this was what I was hoping to get, and my expectations were met. I would say but I definitely didn't like it as much as Evil Dead Rise. Evil Dead
See,
Rise,
that's
I
the
think.
thing. I've been hearing that from people. I don't know where I fall. I feel like I liked this more, surprisingly.
I mean, it's all subjective. Like
Yeah.
I think what I preferred from Evil Dead Rise is what is the biggest problem with Evil Dead Burn is is that it's so like consistently it's very how do I put this? I'll just say the pacing of Evil Dead Rise is 1,000 times better than it is in Evil Dead Burn. And I think that was my biggest issue with this one is because it starts off pretty intense, and then it gets into story and whatnot, and like you have to have those character building moments. I understand that, but for an Evil Dead movie, like it's really not like the number one priority. The number one priority is the Deadites and having them killing a bunch of people in the craziest ways. And you definitely get that. You definitely get that. But I think for me, the amount of time they spent on the characters was just, I think it was way too much. You could have trimmed like 10, 15 minutes off of it. Because this is like an hour and 50-minute movie. Evil Dead Rises was like an hour and 30 something. And I
Mm.
think for Evil Dead, that's the perfect runtime to have. Because there's only so much you can do before it starts to get boring. And I think Evil Dead Rise had that perfect balance because it was like a 90-minute movie. So I really liked how well contained that first one is, or Evil Dead Rises. Whereas Evil Dead Burn is longer. There's a lot more character stuff than just going right into the action. And even Evil Dead Rise had that too, but it was a lot quicker with it. It wasn't as like the focal point, the forefront. It was more so coming back into this world of Evil Dead, and I really liked it. But enough comparing the two. I still think that this was a solid movie. I gave it a 3.5 out of 5. I really like the once you get into the Deadeye action, it's gory, intense. The camera work is unbelievable. There's some really just amazing shots that there's a couple of warners, there's some great transitions, and like that's why I was saying like Sebastian had a great eye for this kind of intense horror,
Mm.
and he brought that and infested, and it was the perfect language to mesh with the Evil Dead franchise, and I think it would be something that Sam Raimi would be really proud of. It looks and it's a very uniquely shot movie for when it comes to like the action stuff, and I thought it was just super well done. Put a whole new spin on it, which I was really glad to see. And the cast is good as well. I like seeing I'm gonna pronounce her name completely wrong, but Suella Yaku. I think that's how you pronounce her name. She was in Dune. She was
Yep.
the one of the Fremen in Dune, and she was great in the lead. I thought she did a really good job. Definitely something different than how the other movies are, where instead of following like an American, we're following a foreigner from France, and I thought that was really interesting, a nice, interesting spin on it. And she did a really good job. The rest of the cast, I think, also did a really good job. Um, Shout out to whoever played the grandma. She was pretty great. She had
She
some
was
really good
crazy.
moments. Yeah. But yeah, the gore, I love the practicality of it. And some of these moments are just so it's so disturbing and gross, but in the best way possible. So I really like that part. And you just overall like it's a good Evil Dead movie, and it's just a good time at the movie theater. But I mean, when it comes to like my issues, it comes down to the characters. I honestly didn't really care for any of them except for the main girl, and that was really it. So it not really a whole lot of meat on the bone for the characters, which is why I had such a problem with how much time they spent building up the characters, is because there's really nothing there for them. There's really no interest. They're all pretty stale, and they don't really change that much, except for, I mean, the brother, and his journey, but it really that doesn't really have a payoff until like the like it's a very anticlimactic payoff for that character specifically. But the rest of it, I thought, yeah, I just wish that they spent a little bit less time building up those characters and just focusing more on what we came there to see, and also the ending, or I guess not the ending, but the visual effects during the ending were a little not great, but I still think overall, as a total package, it's a good movie, good time. If you're a fan of the Evil Dead franchise, you'll definitely love this, or definitely have at least a good time with it. And it expands the world a little bit as well, bringing in some new things to play with. And I don't think, like I said, not as good as Evil Dead Rise, but I'm still excited to see what happens next in this franchise, especially with the next movie. So overall, I give it a 3.5 out of 5. Good movie. Did wish for a little bit more, but it is what it is. So we will shift to you. What did you think of Evil Dead Bird?
Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna start with my score. I would give it, on a star rating, a 4 out of 5. I uh,
Mm.
I had more than just a good time. I had a pretty great time with it. But to kind of like start out with the negatives, I guess I do agree with the pacing in a sense where Rise just did have a bit more. They had the goal in mind the entire time with that film, which is the crazy factor, and I can appreciate that. I think my only issue, where I think this movie actually had an improvement for me compared to Rise with the characters, is although I do admit there are moments where it's like, okay, let's get to it, let's get to the fun, the craziness, the mean nature of this movie. And this movie is mean. I think this is the meanest of all
Mm.
Evil Dead movies, honestly. I think it's super mean, and I love that, especially with the dad character. Shout out to the dad, the actor who
Yeah,
played him.
yeah.
Wild stuff from him. I think he might be my favorite Deadite, honestly. And that's a pretty high bar thing to say because there's some pretty great performances. Um,
Shout out Errol Shan, that's his name. He plays the. I honestly totally am on your side with that. Where like he looked like a Deadeye before he even became a Deadeye.
oh
Like
yeah, yeah.
he looked like he wanted to kill somebody. And
Oh
I think
gosh.
I could tell from a mile away. I was like, oh yeah, this guy he's gonna turn like pretty quickly. And more, what do you
Yeah.
know? He does. And the way that he brought that evilness, like even before he even turns into a Deadeye, is I thought was job well done, really well done. And like he just has that face for a Deadeye, and when he does become one, it just fits perfectly. And his mannerisms, he did such a great job.
Yeah, he was fantastic. Like every scene, I was captivated. I think it's some of my favorite uses of Deadites in a film in a while. Um, but yeah, to compare it to Rise, my issue with Rise, very briefly, the reason why I give that movie a 7 personally, like I still think it's good. It's a really good movie. I had a lot of fun with it, and it's because the family aspect, where it wanted me to care about this family, and I did in a sense, but I also didn't. And some of the character decisions, and I get it, this is a horror movie. It's an Evil Dead film. People make dumb decisions, whatever. I can get behind that, but my goodness, those characters made really dumb decisions in that movie in Evil Dead Rise. Here, I liked the fact that there really wasn't, at least to me, an opportunity to, oh, okay, this character is going to make a load of bad decisions that brings them to a point of destruction where it's like, no, this just kind of happened to them. And like the whole setting of the tone of the film with the people in the boat and the girl in connection to the last film hitting the dude's car, that all felt like I believed in that because it was something that was inevitable for them. It was an outcome that, hey, yeah, this guy's dumb because he was emotional and drunk. And because of that, because of his actions, brought down the downfall of his entire family, except for the one who really wasn't in the family anymore, his wife. And I found that to be rather, I don't know, I just thought that was more engaging in the setup. And when we spend time with the family, I was realizing this whole family sucks, except for the
Yeah.
brother and the girlfriend maybe and the wife. So I'm like, you know what, you guys are fine.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait. What do you
Mm.
mean the wife? Like the mom?
No, no, I mean like okay, sorry, the ex-wife, the main girl
The main.
from
Okay. From
yeah,
Dune. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, from Dune. And so I'm fine with them, especially her. And I felt like that was more of a focus on okay, instead of all of these characters like the children in the movie and the three children in the last movie, the mom, the sister, the neighbors. This one felt more as it progressed. Oh, I'm not really supposed to care about the family. I'm supposed to just care about her. And I thought that was actually really rather exceptional. Maybe other people feel differently, but when the movie progresses, you realize, you know what, actually I'll take a step back. The girlfriend I felt bad for, the girlfriend dating Joseph, the worst Joseph on screen.
Yeah.
I liked him at
Yeah.
first, and then a moment happens where he just abandons his girlfriend. I was like, you're dead. I don't care about you. Die.
Yeah.
Like, you are
Yeah.
a wussy. And yeah, I'm glad he got his end. And that whole one shot, that's probably my favorite scene in the whole film where he's just getting the crap beat out of him while she is just trying to crawl through all of the chaos. Uh,
No, exactly. Exactly.
Absolutely stunning stuff. I think the best shot was in the bathroom where someone is taking her up with her, and they're crawling up the wall to the ceiling, and the camera's just following them for the upside down. Like, oh my god, just
Yeah.
insane work. Some of the best cinematography I think I've seen um, in an Evil Dead film in a while. I liked the elements with the third act, although I will agree the CGI part of the husband, which I loved. I loved the idea, and I liked overall the execution with the house burning. I thought the visuals were insane there with her silhouette running away in the road. Just like chef's kiss, masterclass stuff. But then when you get a closer look at the burnt body, it felt like they
It,
rendered it at 1/4 of the quality
yeah.
that it needed. Like it needed that just a little bit more rendering because it felt like fuzzy. It felt just
Yeah.
like you could just like, I don't know, put like a pencil through it and it would just fall apart and just disintegrate. Yes, I get it. It's a burnt up body, but it literally felt like it was just not completely done. Um, but I think I gave it a pass because I was actually emotionally invested for what the movie was trying to tackle, which is why I liked this movie a lot, a bit more, not a whole lot, a bit more than Evil Dead Rise, because of the themes of the family you choose and the toxicity of family sometimes, and the symbolism, even with the house, dude, with the Joseph obviously being a horrible homeowner, I guess, and that house fully represented that family, the corruption within them, and the
Yeah.
toxicity with the brother, the husband, and how the mom and dad clearly that son, the husband, got his behavior from his dad. You take one look at that
Oh yeah.
dude, you're like, oh yeah, you definitely beat somebody up in your life that's probably a woman, and that sucks. And
Yeah.
I hate you. And they did a great job making me feel empathy for the wife because at that point, and then later on, you get to the second half of the film, I didn't care about the family. I'm like, I want you all to turn into deadites. I just want her to live. So yeah, just to me, I felt like the mean nature of the film and also more of a focus on just, really this one person making it out alive. And there's also the lore aspect. I guess they're doing a lot more with it and how their family was connected to some things that are it's actually pretty cool. I like what they're doing there. And yeah, overall, I had a good time with it, and I think that nature of abuse and the toxicity of family kind of held it strong for me by the time I got to the ending. Still, the movie easily could have been trimmed down, which is why it's not like a 9 or a 10. Is the movie didn't need to be an hour and 50. I think like what Evil Dead Rise was like an hour and 40, hour and 38.
Yeah.
Easily, they could have done that. They could have totally shaved off in the first 40 minutes, about 5 minutes there, maybe another 5 minutes somewhere else. But other than that, yeah, it's a 4 out of 5 for me. I had a great time with it, and I know some people think that the story is thin, and where I do understand that, I think the deeper nature of the relationship at the core of the film, because I think they keep on reminding you, not too much where it's like banging your head over it, but her kind of getting trauma of the past abuse she got from her husband, and that's like haunting her all throughout the film. And then you get to that insane third act with the bad CGI version of her husband. It just worked. And
Mhm.
still, nothing compares to the death scene with the Deadites in the third act in Evil Dead Rise. I think they were trying to get there, and it was still awesome. Like I liked it; it was cool, but nothing compared to Evil Dead Rise with the chainsaw shoving it in
Yeah.
through the wood chipper. That was just a
Yeah.
classic. But
Oh, I like how they teased the chainsaw and then they didn't do it.
I
They
like
did.
that too. I thought it was gonna be kind of cheap, but then they were like, nah, she's gonna use something else. I'm like, okay, I respect that. That was cool.
What did she use again? She used the
It's like a drill
um
thing, a pick drill or
y-
something.
yeah, it's one of those like the street drills or whatever they're called. And
Yeah.
you just right in the face.
Yeah, I love that. I was like, okay, this is a worthy death. Um, but yeah, 4 out of 5, man. But I know you're excited to talk about this one, this next
Yeah.
movie.
Oh
So,
yeah.
do you want me to start, or you wanna start this one?
If you want to go, go ahead.
Okay, I'll be real brief. For mine, because I was talking a lot for Evil Dead Burn, but the invite, starting with a star rating, I'm going back and forth, but for right now, I would say it is. Yeah, I'm gonna say it. It's a 4.5 out of 5. At first it was a 4, but as time has progressed and because I saw this back at the Seattle International Film Festival, I actually got to interview Olivia before seeing it, and she this is her best film. Out of the 3 movies that
Hmm.
she's directed, this is her best, and it's her best performance. I think it might even be my favorite Seth Rogen performance. Um, and this is just to give perspective. I am married. Catch the Ring. And just witnessing this film with my wife was a really beautiful experience because it's a movie that just gives you an honest depiction of this marriage that seems like they have run their course. And then neighbors are invited. The wife's excited. He's not. He's a passionate man who loves music and he feels like his life is going nowhere. The wife wants excitement. They don't know how to, what's the key word? Communicate anymore. And that is a beautiful thing that I don't think I've seen in a long time in a relationship movie is the way Olivia goes about dialogue in relationships because the whole movie takes place in this apartment with this couple and this neighbor that is supposedly in this secret society group where they like
For
to do other
carpets.
things. Yeah, carpets. They love carpets. Edward Norton is obsessed with carpets. Um,
Yeah.
but no, they like to do it with other people. It's a groupie thing, and you kind of get the hints from the marketing, and then the movie. You really believe that it's going to go into this raunchy, rated R territory. It's really rated R just for the language and obviously the nature of what they're talking about, but really no nudity except for scenes that get kind of close. But I thought that was very tasteful for Olivia, is that the movie doesn't really go in a direction that you are expecting. It's more emotional. It's also wildly hilarious. This is one of the
Yeah.
funniest movies of the year because of how good the dialogue is, the performances. It's some of the sharpest editing I've seen. Um, it's also a movie that gives you kind of anxiety. I don't know if you felt that way, but it the music swelling up, the loud voices, even the sound editing, it's meant to keep you engaged in the conversation and makes you feel the stress of what this couple is going through in their own relationship and how they've lost this spark and maybe how this one night could potentially, maybe it'll save them or maybe it won't. um, and when yeah, like so yeah, performances amazing. Love Penelope Cruz. She was hilarious. Edward Norton was hilarious. There was a really great scene that he has, a fantastic monologue that he gives in the third act that that kind of blew me away. And I loved it. It's a beautiful introspective look on relationships and what we put our identities in and how we can lose ourselves sometimes. But to me, what I took away from the invite is that you need to communicate to your other person. You just have to, or you will lose that person. And I thought that was absolutely riveting, especially the final scene, the final moment. Just no spoilers, but I had a little tear in my eye, and maybe it's just because I'm married. I honestly highly recommend this to people who are married because you might be thinking you're gonna go into something that's like, ooh, it's poo pooing on marriage. Ooh, they're trying to send a message that you guys should do this with your lifestyle. It's like, no, it's giving you this wild premise for a deeper theme, and I applaud Olivia for going for that. I know that she's had some personal stuff in her life, and I really wanted to ask her those questions, but I obviously wanted to respect her own personal life because she's a human being. Everybody makes mistakes, but I'm obviously referring to the whole her ex-husband, Jason Sudeikis, all that stuff, and clearly that stuff probably inspired her for this story, because not everything ends with a happily ever after in certain relationships. But yeah,
Yeah.
I think it just you feel the energy of the film. They also filmed this like only in a couple weeks. I think it was like 2 weeks that they filmed this.
Really?
And yeah, it was like 2, maybe 3 weeks. It was very quick. And
I had no idea.
yeah, it's just beautiful. So I love the intimate setting. It's hilarious. And it still has a hopeful message that that just I don't know. I can go on and on, dude. But 4.5 out of 5. That's my 6 minute, 7 minute spiel of personally Olivia Wilde's best film, The Invite. What did you think about it? Do you share the same sentiment, or do you think it's her worst? I don't think you'll think it's his worst. That it's her worst. But I'm curious
Well,
what you think.
I kind of have to think it's her best because I've only seen this movie. I've never seen Booksmart, Don't Worry, Darling.
Oh,
But
okay.
I know the
Booksmart's
controversy
great.
behind Booksmart. I've heard is really good.
Yep.
Don't worry, darling, not so much. Um, but yeah, so I didn't really have any expectations going into this for her style. I didn't know what her style was, and so I think that helped me a lot while watching it. And I had heard a lot, like everyone who's seen it, like universally, at least really likes it to loves it. And I'm on the side of I absolutely love this movie. And you're saying it's her best movie. I'm saying it's the best movie of 2026 so far. That
Ooh,
I
that's
know
a high
it's a
bar.
crazy take. It's a high
Project Hail
bar.
Mary, bro.
I know Project Hail
Dang.
Mary. I love Project Hail Mary, but I'm a sucker for really good dialogue, and maybe that's why I'm such a big fan of Mad Men, because that's probably one of, if not the best dialogue centric shows ever made. And going into this, like I hadn't seen an Olivia Wilde movie ever, and I've seen her movies, but not seen her direction. And I was very interested to see what that was going to be like. And it's kind of like a mesh of like the studio and but also like a good character drama,
Mm,
but it's
that's
also
good.
absolutely hilarious. Like there were moments in this movie I was absolutely dying at, like just the off like rip, just Seth Rogen like throws out some like random quip, and it's like the funniest thing ever. I want to see how much he ad libbed this, because I feel like he would do a lot of ad libbing.
Yeah, yeah.
I think this is like a huge one for him, but I also think that this was just incredibly well written. Just every single line of dialogue is witty, it's sharp, but it's meaningful. It's not just there to make the audience laugh, it's there to serve a purpose. And that's what I loved about it the most. And Olivia Wilde and Seth Rogen just I think this is their both of their best performances probably ever. Like I don't think I've seen Seth Rogen this good in, like, he's amazing in the studio. He's done amazing jobs in like he was in Steve Jobs and so many other like good dramatic roles, but I think this is like the perfect movie for him to show his comedic but also dramatic acting skills, and he does it
Yeah.
so well, and it flows so perfectly between the scenes, like, and bouncing that off of Olivia Wilde too, who I've never seen like be super funny. She's absolutely hilarious in this. Like some of the stuff, like, and it you see her doing this stuff, and like people who do the exact same thing. Like there are
Mm-hmm.
people who will say the exact same things here. Like what? No, never. What? I don't know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? Like those like moments where she's like trying to impress the neighbors. Like I think it's so funny. And speaking of the neighbors, Edward Norton, he his character, he is so funny, and Edward Norton plays him perfectly, but he also has that dramatic and emotional punch that he brings, and he switches between being dramatic and comedic so seamlessly. Like it's
Oh
some
yeah.
of the best that I've seen from him in quite some time. Like he's one of the great best actors working today, and this movie just goes to show how much range he still has in just one movie. Like he's doing comedy and drama at the same time. It works so well. And of course the Penelope Cruz. I mean, what else is there to say? She's uh, I, I haven't seen her been this good in forever. Like this is like right up her alley, perfect kind of role for her. And I hope that more opportunities like this come along where it's a meaningful role, sure, but it's also like deeply comedic, and she plays that like kind of, not, I wouldn't say dry, but like more like laid back humor compared to other people who are in the movie. I think she stands out very well, and I mean it does help too that the writing and the characters are just so unique and interesting, but also relatable to our own world. Like I'm not married. I am a single guy. So if anybody wants to hit me up, shout out me.
Slide
I'll
through his
give you my
DMs.
slide into my DMs for sure.
Cineblade.
But
Cineblade.
yeah, at Cinema Blade, yeah, jump in the DMs. I got you. But so I'm not married. I don't have a girlfriend. I'm single, and I've never had any, issues when I have been in a relationship that would look like this. And but at the same time, I'm like relating to like, yeah, this is something that could happen to anybody. This is something that could happen in everyday life, and it probably is happening right now somewhere. And I think that factor makes it such a beautiful movie to digest, especially I think the ending shot is like top 10 of the century. Like or sorry, top 10 of the decade, not century.
Ooh,
Decade,
I was
decade.
like, woo!
Decade. I meant decade.
I was like,
I like
brother in
you.
Christ. Just kidding.
Yeah, yeah. Sorry. I meant the decade. All right, my bad. But like you said, you were tearing up. I was tearing up. There was people behind me in the movie theater that were crying, like
Mm,
bawling, and I was like,
that's
I
why I love the
don't blame them.
movies.
I don't blame them at all. It was something that really just it hit me so hard, and I just love the way that they tackled it throughout the movie. It's like the way that it's built up to, I think is fantastic. Just the subtle, you know, the subtle hints of him and his music background
Yeah.
and how it all leads to where he wants like where the movie goes by the end. And it's all like you said, it's all about communication. It's all about understanding what is going on in a relationship that you have, and what are the problems, but what is working and what can we focus on to make it better. If you can't communicate that, then you're just going to assume the worst. You're going to become distant. You're going to become selfish, and you're going to lash out for small things that are meaningless when you are in a relationship and you're married and you have a kid. And it because it's like obviously taking care of yourself is important, but there's a reason why you're in a relationship, and it's not just for you, it's for everybody involved. And I think it does such a great job of unpacking what that means and
Mm.
how its relationship with how a family's supposed to like how healthy a family's supposed to be versus how individual is supposed to be health wise, physically and mentally. And I think bringing that comedic aspect makes it work a lot better instead of just being like a sad small drama in an apartment building. Like this is like just incredibly hilarious, but when it gets to those deeper moments, it just works so well. And that's just a shout out to good writing and good direction. So kudos to Olivia Wilde. I didn't know you had that kind of game in you. And I was incredibly impressed. I want to go back and watch Olivia Wilde's other movies. I know Don't Worry Darling is a mess from what
I
I've
mean, I even
heard.
want to
And
rewatch that too, dude. I want to rewatch Booksmart, but I actually want to go back to Don't Worry, Darling. I remember being kind of whatever about it. Not like it was bad, just like eh. But
mhm,
she is a very and she has a very interesting sense of style for her film that it feels familiar, but it also feels like different and unique. It's kind of warm in a way.
yeah,
It's a warm quality. I'm so glad you loved it.
yeah. Well,
It's
let
a
me give my
film.
rating. Let
Oh
me
yeah,
give my
yeah.
rating.
Get your rating. Get your rating. Come on.
So overall, after everything I've said, it's a 1 out of 5. No, it's
Yes.
I gave it
Sucks.
a I gave it a 5 out of 5.
Ooh. Dang.
I really liked it that much. It hit me in so many different ways, and each time it was super. It was very meaningful to me, even as someone who isn't married or in a relationship. And I was just incredibly impressed with Olivia Wilde. I cannot wait to see what she does next. I can't. Hopefully, she pops back up in the studio too.
Oh
And
yeah.
Seth Rogen, brilliant in this again. Can't. I'm really happy about the way he has decided to take his career after being in so many different comedies in the early 2000s, late 2010s, or early late 2000s, early 2010s. And I'm glad he's kind of shifted to, yeah, it's still comedic, but it's got a lot of meaning to it, and he plays
Mm.
those characters really well. even though like his laugh always gets me every single time. It's just so funny.
I
But
love it.
overall, yeah, I give it a 5 out of 5. It's my favorite movie of 2026 so far. I'm sure it's not going to stay that way, but
It
I
might
mean,
change this
we were
week. Might change this week. You never know.
fingers crossed. We'll see. Don't let me down, Christopher. Just please
Please,
don't. Like,
please.
please don't. But yeah, overall, I love this movie. Best of the year so far for me, and I'm excited to see what Olivia Wilde does next for direction and acting wise. So that is the invite. Let's get on to the best movie of the week, the one that I unfortunately couldn't watch because I didn't want to, and that is Disney's live action Moana, starring Dwayne the Rock Johnson, and I forget the girl's name that stars in it, but
Catherine. I believe her first name is Catherine. I don't remember her last name. Yeah, pretty sure it's Catherine.
shout out Catherine. Let me see. I'm gonna look it up real quick,
Yeah, I was thinking the
I
same
feel
thing.
better if I look it up. Catherine Lag Lagagia. I can't pronounce that. I can't pronounce that. That's not. I. That's totally on me because if I try and pronounce it, I'm going to be doing such an insult to the actual actor. So I'm just going to leave it there. But I didn't see it. I didn't want to see it. And as the reviews came in, I am really glad I didn't. But we have a person here who has seen it, and that would be Joseph. So, Joseph, what did you think of the masterpiece of 2026's Moana live action version?
Well, it's a perfect segue because sometimes you have the best of the year, like the invite, and then you have the absolute worst, which Moana is definitely going to be in my top 10 worst of the year, unless there's that many other bad movies in the next coming months. I hope not. I don't want there to be
Mm-hmm.
bad movies. I never am. Let me say this: I am never rooting for a movie to be bad. I can look at a trailer and be like, "Oh no, that doesn't look good," but I hope it's good. Or I just say, "I'm not interested. I'll skip it. I don't need to send any negativity." But this is Disney, and this is a live-action Disney movie for a movie that is based off an original animated film that came out 10 years ago. And it just had an animated
Not
sequel.
even 10 years
Oh, yeah,
ago.
not even. It's about to be later on in this year, but we had that. And then it also had an animated sequel almost that came out 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And that's just crazy to me, dude. So just that's a whole thing. But just to talk about the movie really quick, it's a worse version of an already great movie. Like
I
I don't understand at this point why they keep on doing it. And well, I'll tell you the number one reason: money. And they really thought they were going to make a splash at the box office, but yet again, I will talk about that later. Uh, it's lifeless, and for a movie that the original is so filled with color and so much like emotions from these characters emoting and how they feel and the songs and the joy you just get from watching the cartoon Moana. I didn't feel that really at all. The only time that I got a glimpse of life was the fact that in the opening sequence, or near the opening I should say, like in the first like 15 minutes of the movie, is where you see the cultural representation, with this huge dance sequence with by the way, over 200 actors from the Pacific were involved in this movie, and it's clearly
hmm,
shown during this one moment. And I loved that. That moment felt the most real, even though there was some really bad CGI background. I love that, and I really wanted to make sure I say that because that is very important, and I applaud Disney for doing that. I think it is something that probably Dwayne really wanted to make sure was still upheld, and I'm glad they did that. Um, yeah, that's the only praise I can give this movie, though, sadly, because speaking of Dwayne, he is terrible with that wig. He's not a bad actor. I don't even think he's necessarily bad in the movie. It's just it's not Maui to me, and it's not Moana to me. I like Catherine. I think she does a fine job with being next to a big star like Dwayne the Rock. She like held up her own, and I can clearly tell that this was her first big project because there were even moments where her acting felt kind of wooden Like she was saying a line and they were just like, I guess that's the take. That doesn't happen a lot though. I really don't want to poo poo on her. She actually did a fine job, especially in the singing department. The best part of her performance is that she does a great job. Dwayne is clearly having a good time with this, but it doesn't feel right because my mind keeps on going back to the cartoon and how these characters just are giving way more emotional range in the cartoon version, and here it really just feels like they are saying words. And mix that in with really bad CGI background green screen quality next to Thor Love and Thunder like levels, and this is supposed to be a live action version, it doesn't. At that point, it feels like a bad animated movie. And that's, if I'm already watching an animated movie that looks terrible, I might as well watch the good one. So
Hmm.
it's a shame that they poured over $250 million into this, and this is what the product looks like. So I don't understand the color correction. I don't understand why they thought this was a good time, because I already knew they were going to make a live action of this film. Like, it was without a doubt they would. I just didn't think it would be this soon. And clearly it was a bad choice to do it this soon. And it was a bad choice, honestly, I think, to get Dwayne to play this role because the dude doesn't have any hair. And I believe in
Yeah.
acting. I do believe in acting. I believe people can add prosthetics and wigs and costumes. Like, yes, it's called acting is called you're faking something. That's what acting is. But if I'm just staring at a hairpiece the entire time, then you have failed miserably.
Yeah.
Instead, it looked like an SNL parody, sadly. So it's a mixture of that, and it just missed the charm of the animated film. Like I just keep on going back to that sentiment of why would I watch a worse version of an already great film that I can just watch and stream for not necessarily for free, you have to pay for Disney Plus, but comparing the amount that it costs to go to the theaters with gas, and you're probably taking your kids with you, how much money that costs all in general, just watch it on Disney Plus. There's already a better version for you. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, it's bad. Yeah, it's bad. It's like the best way to
It's
put
bad.
it. It's
It's
just
bad.
bad. And
Yeah.
the third act, I will admit this. This movie costs a lot of money, and it's shockingly how much they put into it. But Teika, the villain, which at this point Moana has been out for so long. I'm talking about
It's the
the original.
volcano. Yeah,
The
like the
volcano.
big volcano chick.
It looks great, honestly. I think that's where they put most of the money in. I thought actually, with the out of all of the elements, the creature elements, the crab was terrible.
Hmm.
That was the best. Like I could tell they put most of their time and attention to that. Some moments that were still kind of shoddy, especially with the human characters like Moana, where I'm like, that just looks bad. What are we doing? Um, Overall, getting to my final point and score, my final point is this. Why does this movie exist? Okay, now for the score. It's a, and I'm being generous actually with this. I'm being generous. I'm giving it a 2 out of 5. I feel like it's a very generous score. I want to say 1, but
Hmm.
it's not a bad story because it's a carbon
Well, because the
copy.
original is there. Like
Yeah,
it's all in the original.
yeah, it's all there. So it's actually and I want to give a shout out to the grandma actress. The woman who plays the grandma. I don't know her name. Uh, Raina Raina Owen, who I guess was in Star Wars Episode 2 and Episode 3. I wonder who she played. That's interesting. That's really cool. Well, she was fantastic, and she was the best actor in the film. I fully believed in her being the grandmother to Moana.
Yeah.
She's the only reason why it gets a 2. And the Polynesian Pacific Islander representation was beautiful. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
2 out of
good.
5. Just ugh. I guess going into that, you want to talk about how Moana is in troubled waters right now. Speaking of money, financially, this box office weekend, yeah, get into it, dude. Because oh my god,
Speak
it. Oh,
Speaking of money, Moana's not making any money.
Hey, it's
We
making
thought that
some. It's making some, but yeah, it's not making much.
some, yeah. It's definitely has one of the box offices of all time.
Yep.
It is it. So I think the report was it made $43 million this opening weekend, and
Yep.
it cost $250 million. I don't even know if that's including marketing. Probably not. But and like what you said, it's $250 million movie, and it looks terrible,
Yeah.
just really really bad. Like it is like, and I haven't even seen it. I've seen the trailer, and I remember seeing the trailer for the first time, and they're like, "Oh my god, it's so magical." I'm like, "No, it's not. Like, It's so just flavorless. There's nothing there. It is literally like watching an SNL skit. And when you see
Mm-hmm.
Maui in the trailer, it looks like they're doing like one of those SNL things where it's supposed to look like a movie, but it's like an SNL skit movie, basically. It looked terrible from the jump. I never thought I knew they were gonna do a Moana live action like you. I didn't think it would happen like super soon, but I mean we did get How to Train Your Dragon last year, and that's like what like a I don't know, 13 years old since the first one came out, so it's a little bit longer.
At
But
least that one
you
had
know,
heart, though. Somebody actually tried to say that. They're like, yeah, but you're not mad about How to Train Your Dragon. I'm like, well, that movie actually captured the heartbeat of the movie and had some good performances. Nobody looks stupid in their wigs like Gerard Butler. And Gerard Butler returning to play his original character was actually a smart choice because it looked natural. And
yeah,
Dwayne does not. I love Dwayne, but he did not belong. At least, you know what? It would have been cool to see him play like the dad, maybe. I don't know. Like, just if you want to bring him back, it just have him be in a position where he's not going to be made fun of, or just have
yeah,
him be a producer, right? Maybe he plays it. You know what would have been crazy? What if he played like an original character in like the sequel or the third movie?
yeah.
But no, they wanted. I think it's proving the point, the box office here, dude. It's proving that people, I think, realized, wait, why are they doing a Moana live action? Didn't we just get like a cartoon sequel? Um, Also, I think sadly, Dwayne fatigue is real. I actually think
Yeah.
that. I think it's sadly a thing, and I love Dwayne. I will be down for him to be in any movie. He's actually going to be in a movie with the director of Sing Sing. Greg, he's directing this movie where Dwayne's playing a guy who's like a motorcyclist who does stunts, and
Huh.
he has dementia. I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, so you want to get another Oscar? Bet. And it's the director of
He's
Sing Sing.
also doing. He's also doing. I think he's got. I don't want to say two, but I think he's got two Martin Scorsese movies
Oh yeah, with Leo,
on
right?
his docket. Yeah, with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah.
I don't know if those are ever gonna happen,
Yeah,
but
true,
I
true.
he those are what I've seen and what I've heard of. So I think it definitely could happen. If they do, that's awesome. That'd be really cool.
It sucks to say that because I am a fan of him. I'm not saying that as somebody who is boo Dwayne. I'm tired of you being in movies. I I want him to be in movies, but that are good. And this was just a
Yeah,
cash grab. Like I feel like maybe he just needed he just needed another check with how poorly the Smashing Machine did. I don't know. Like
yeah.
and that movie was good. It wasn't great, but I think this like because bro, you want to know how much this movie made worldwide opening weekend?
Can I take a guess?
Just guess, just guess. Like I'm
I'm gonna
including
guess.
domestic too. Just like worldwide, what do you think it made?
I'm gonna be generous. I'm gonna say $110 million.
Nope, didn't even cross 100. Made $95 million opening weekend.
Damn.
That is actually crazy to me because
Yeah.
I feel like this movie is maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I need to look up the. You know what? I'm gonna do it real quick right here on live. Let me look up Moana box office. We're gonna look up Moana box office mojo for the 2016 version.
Yeah. Well, because that one made like opening weekend, it was like $56 million, and that was before it was even a big thing yet.
Yeah.
And this is making less than that.
Well,
And the
here's the thing.
Moana,
It internationally, yeah, domestically, it has made sorry, the original cartoon domestically world the total that it got for just its overall gross was 248 million, and then the total gross internationally was almost 400 million dollars. That's not opening weekend, that's just the gross in general. To me,
Yeah.
what that says is it's losing not just the domestic audience, this movie is losing its international audience, which is
Yeah.
not a great sign for Disney. Disney has actually been losing their international audience, I think, for some time, and they've been gaining it back. Like we have some hits, like Toy Story 5 is still like doing pretty great job. I love that movie, but I think it's very apparent that I think people are catching on, dude. That
Yeah.
these Disney live actions, they either need to be something timely or amazing, or people aren't just going to show up right now. People, I guess, showed up for Lilo and Stitch. I don't know how that movie got over 70% on Rotten Tomatoes. That movie was bad, at least in my
Yeah.
opinion. But it's showing to me, I think, a hope that audiences are actually smarter than what these studios think. It's like, hey, just throw in a CGI little character and say it's live action. They'll come running for it. Just throw in that little
Right.
CGI chicken. They're gonna love that. I'm like, yeah, you
That
want to know what
CGI
happened?
pig too. We're
Oh, and the
showing.
CGI pig. Oh yeah, don't forget about them. You want to know what happened during actually my theatrical experience of Moana?
I would love to.
So, wasn't even completely packed. It was a Thursday night. And it was really adorable though. There was this girl with her whole family. She dressed up as Moana. And I'm like, you know what, Disney? You do it for her. You do it for her. You do it for that little girl. You make this little girl proud. And I looked at my wife after this movie and I'm like, they just
Feel
did.
so bad for her.
I feel so bad for her, even though she probably thinks this is a masterpiece. I should run up to her and be like, no, it's not. It's a steaming pile of trash. Go watch the cartoon. Go watch it now. And then she'd be traumatized. Um,
Yeah.
I obviously gladly didn't, filled with my awesome wisdom, didn't do that. But in my
You
head, I
held
wanted to.
you calm down. You just even though you just had to hold back your anger. That's
I
all.
did.
Like you're
I
not gonna
did.
take it out on a little girl who's going to the Moana screening dressed as Moana and telling
Please
her
don't like
that
this movie.
her favorite movie is dog shit.
Oh, gosh. I'm so sorry, little girl. But it was a very interesting experience because, I mean, yeah, it was cool. So I saw that, saw a little girl getting excited. I'm like, you know what? What am I doing here? Being a hater. Let's try to enjoy a movie. I didn't, but about half the people in that theater left.
Really?
Half. And it wasn't even,
Wow.
it was only halfway filled already. So it lost half of the audience that was supposed to be sitting in that opening night for Moana. And yeah, I think that said a lot. Now, I'm not saying that's going to be a lot of people's experience. I'm not trying to be like, yeah, this movie is so bad. People are walking out everywhere in America. People are no. That just happened for me in a little town called Auburn in Washington State. But I think that says a lot too. And it seemed like an audience. Half of them were just some teenagers that probably wanted to kill a couple hours, and the other half was a family that
Mm-hmm.
probably realized, oh wait, I can just go to Disney Plus. What am I doing here? Um,
Yeah.
yeah, to me, it's not looking good. I don't. They need to at least minimum make like probably 500, 550
That's
to
not gonna happen.
turn a profit. And unless this movie has legs, which I don't believe it will, because next week you have the Odyssey. So you want to know what mommy
And
and daddy are
Spider-Man.
going to be doing?
You have Spider-Man in 2 weeks. This
Yeah.
thing is gonna be dead in the water in
So
not even a week.
you have two different groups, right? Obviously, this movie's for the kids, and it's going to force the parents to go to the theaters, right? Well, guess what happens if your mom and dad are too busy with the Odyssey? And then, what about you, little Josie? If you wanted to see Moana again, but then you realized, wait, mom, dad, is Spider-Man coming out this week? Oh, screw Moana. Let me get my Spider-Man cap on. I'm Team
Yeah,
Spider-Man
there you
now.
go.
That's what's going to happen. The kids are going to lose interest because the parents aren't going to really care to go see it again, or tell their other parents, hey, you should go watch it. No, you know what they're probably saying? They're probably saying, stay home, save your
Yep.
money, watch Moana,
Mm-hmm.
actually make a movie night. It's summer. Go in the backyard, get the projector out. Take that,
I'd rather
Disney.
make. There should be a. I'd rather watch a movie about a family watching Moana than watching a Moana
Oh, yeah,
like
just
live
seeing a
action movie because it'd
reaction.
be so much more wholesome. it's actually have some flavor to it, but like Ryan Gosling said when Project Hail Mary was coming out, we tried to make movies like we are in charge of making good movies for you to come see. Like we're not forcing you to like anything. We have to make good movies on our end in order for the box office to grow, in order for movie theaters to stay open. And this is an example of what not to do, basically.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we're got to make movies that are good that people want to see, not cash grabs that people don't care about because they're not stupid and know that this is a cash grab. This is like probably the best example of a cash grab. And like
Oh
obviously,
yeah.
yeah, every movie wants to make money, but not every movie costs $250 million and is a studio ran movie by Disney, and they're hoping for it to make $1 billion because that was the trajectory that it was looking to go to.
Oh yeah.
So that's
They
yeah,
ugh. That's what they wanted, dude, because look, like I think you mentioned it before that this movie made less than what the original cartoon made, which was $56 million. It made $13 million less, and you want to know how much Moana 2 made 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago.
134 million opening weekend.
So if you think about that in a line graph, a bar chart graph, you're like Disney's probably like, oh my god, we're gonna maybe make like $150 million. And honestly, I I wouldn't blame them for that because you just mentioned Moana live action. The kiddos are gonna go crazy. You're still gonna have us old grunts being like, oh my god, another one. I'm gonna have to review this again. I'm so done with this.
Yeah,
But we're still gonna go see it. We're still gonna spend money. So it
not me.
wasn't what? Oh yeah, not you. Hey, you're smart. You're smart. You're a smart guy. Just don't even stream it, dude. Don't even waste your time. But
I
to me,
don't
that
even want.
says
Anytime it pops up on my TV when I'm watching like sports, I immediately just go, "Ew."
yeah, yeah. No, thank you. No, thank you, Moana. 2026 version. Always welcome
Yeah,
the
yeah.
2016
Moana
one.
2016, the original animated, is one of the best Disney movies of the century. I don't think there's any arguing that. But
But then you get this, and
then you get this, and it just kind of shows you how far they've fallen
oh
since
yeah,
2016. Like, because 2016, 2017 were like pretty great years. I mean, they had Inside Out coming out, Moana, they had Coco. Like, they were on a good run. They were on a very good run. And then once like Disney Plus became a thing, and it just kind of went down. It's been going downhill ever since. And like,
and they
not to
still
say
have
that,
some gems.
and
They still have some gems, but I agree with you. There have been more misses than hits like
yeah,
Hoppers. I think Hoppers was a really fun time, but that's Pixar. Like we're talking
yeah.
about Disney animated movies, and I hope Hex is good. I like the trailer, the
Mm-hmm.
the witch one, but I'm still
Yeah.
kind of like I don't know. Like I like Haley Steinfeld. I like the story. I'm interested, but I'm at a position where I just don't really have much faith in the Disney animated studios department. Not necessarily
I
Pixar. Like
don't trust I don't trust Disney at all anymore. Like, I mean, not to say that I ever trusted Disney to begin with, but just what they've done with their properties, whether it's Star Wars, Marvel, Disney Pixar, um, you name it. Like, they used to have, I think, a solid control of what they were doing. With like Marvel, they did such a good job with building up the universe and ultimately concluding that with Endgame, which was just an iconic and unbelievable saga. Now we're at a point where like we don't even know if a movie's going to be good. Like we have no
yeah.
idea. It's honestly a coin toss. Like it's embarrassing. And like same thing with Star Wars. Like you get shows that are like Andor, but then you also get the sequels. You get the Book of Boba Fett. You get the Acolyte. You get all this crap, and it's just I haven't been able to trust them. Like I've never trusted them, but this is like I honestly like I would rather go see any other kind of. I'd rather go see the Emoji Movie again than go to see a Disney live action remake right now,
No, that's
especially
crazy.
Moana. I don't care how crazy that is. At least they tried to do something there, even
Yeah.
though it was really bad. they still tried to do something a little different. But all these live action remakes, like House the I keep wanting to say House of the Dragon. How to Train Your Dragon was like I didn't love it. I thought it was fine. I'm not a fan of just taking the original and putting a live action skin on it and just saying, "Oh, look, it's the same, but it's different." I hate that. I love it when a movie, if they're trying to do a live action, has their own take on it, has their own, feel to it instead of just trying to capture the animation because animation is such a delicate medium for telling stories. Like you can't tell Into the Spider-Verse in a live action movie the same way you did in the cartoon because that would look stupid. Like that, everybody would be like, "What the hell is this?" But like when you
Mm.
have it in an animated movie and it looks like a comic book, a moving comic book, I think like it's super unique and it's amazing. And it's like the same as like this with Moana. Like you have Maui turning into a bunch of creatures, and like in the animated movie, it makes sense and it's funny because of the way they look. But then in this, it just looks like kind of uncanny, you know.
Yeah, looks so
And
weird.
it's yeah, exactly. It's just weird. So, and this is coming from someone who hasn't even seen the movie, but
Well, even in the trailers they show you, and it just like it's like the shark head. I'm like,
yeah, that
no.
was freaky. That was weird. He looked like a Backrooms character, but he looked like Captain Clark from the Backrooms if it was a shark.
Oh God.
Um, yeah, but yeah, overall, I mean, even though I haven't seen it, I think we both can agree that this is a step in the wrong direction for movies and any live action movie adaptations. But and we'll see how far this falls because I mean, Disney is on a pretty cold streak so far this year, other than Toy Story, because Moana is bombing. Mandalorian and Grogu is nowhere to be found. It's dead in a ditch. Marvel doesn't have a movie. They don't have a Marvel movie coming out until December. And Hopper's flopped. So it's a bummer for movie theaters, but for Disney, I think it's a lesson that they need to learn. So I mean, that's all I gotta say on it. Do you have anything else you want to add?
No, well, before we wrap up here, just to give a quick shout out to Michael. They just crossed $1 billion, and it's pretty impressive because I thought they would just end around like 980, 990, but no, they did it. It's the first musical biopic to do it. It's the first biopic in general to do it. It beat Bohemian, and then it beat Oppenheimer. And now they have claimed the throne, and there is no other artist-based movie that I would assume that would ever reach that than the Michael Jackson one. Like that is honestly
Yeah,
perfect, and just establishing just how insanely popular the legacy and just who the man was, Michael, and like what he did for music and is still doing today. Clearly, people like went back to it because even though yeah the movie's not perfect, I still had a great time with it. I understand critically why some people had issues with it. Yes, it's a movie that could have touched more on his personal shortcomings, and I really hope they take notes and do that in part two. I'm looking at you, Lionsgate. Please do that because I think you'll give an even more rewarding experience. But for a movie that's just, hey, let's. Somebody said it to me like this. They're like, I get the criticism and I get the critics that were like harsh on it, but to me, I took it as like a celebration of like of the man with the music, the man who made the music. Like it's a celebration of that part of his life, and I'm like, you know what? I can take that. And when I rewatched it, I'm like, yeah, I'm having a fun time. Sure, I want more, and I think they should have done more. But having that perspective, I get why it made $1 billion. This actually makes sense. Like it to me genuinely makes sense because you can just turn your brain off and just start singing and start smiling and just Jafar Jackson deserves the Oscar nomination. Um, I honestly haven't seen a better performance this year from a male um, other than him so far. I think he is a shoe in for the best, and I'm just happy
really?
that I I
Really? Are you
bro
serious? I mean, okay, I haven't seen it, so I have no,
really you haven't seen
I
it?
never saw, I haven't seen it. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, like I am not the biggest Michael Jackson fan. Like I don't like don't get me wrong, I like him, but like
Get
I'm
him in the
not like a
comment section. Get him.
super fan. Yeah, whatever. They can come at me. I don't care. But like I saw the trailers for this movie and immediately like the same thing with Moana. I just thought it didn't look very good. Like and like it every single trailer like I just think it got worse. Like you have CGI Gary, Indiana. That was in the trailer. I thought that was crazy. And then I just kind of felt like and like when the movie came out, I think I was proved right. Was that this is just going to be a it's going to be like Michael Jackson, the music video, the movie. Like it's
Yeah.
Michael Jackson's music in a movie, and it just keeps doing that the whole time. And from what I've heard, that's exactly what it was. And those are movies that I just cannot stand. I can't. I'm sick of movies that just play to that because for me, it's an excuse to not have a good story. You know, because you have like Michael Jackson, who is one of the most fascinating human beings in the last, you know, like 20th and 21st century, one of the most fascinating human beings, and just relegating his story to just a bunch of music videos, I think is disrespectful to him and not
Mm.
telling his full story. And I know you said it's a celebration of his music. It's like, yes, I understand that, but the movie's called Michael, not Michael Jackson's music. And I
Yeah,
just
that's
wish
a fair.
that
That's fair.
that I just wish that and again, this is coming from somebody who hasn't even seen the movie. I like this I felt the same way with Bohemian Rhapsody. I hate Bohemian Rhapsody. I think that movie's terrible. I do like Rocket Man. I'll give Rocket Man because
Oh,
Rocket Man
Rocket Man's
actually
the
does
best.
try to. Rocket Man is I think really good, but
Oh
like
yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsody, um, I mean I haven't seen Michael, so I can't give an opinion on it. But just from the trailers and from what I've heard, it doesn't sound like a movie I would like, and I'm fine with not watching it
Yeah,
ever.
it,
I
it
probably
works.
will, but it's whatever.
It works for the fans, you know, and I'm one of the fans. That's why it definitely worked for me. But I also am one of the people that agree it should have gone deeper. And there are things that clearly they were trying to, but legally their hands were tied, and the Jackson estate was to blame with some miscommunication to the studio.
Yeah,
I feel so bad for Antoine Fuqua. That would have been an insane mess to like clean up. So kudos to
yeah,
he's really the MVP. Him and the production team for like trying to figure that out. And I hope he comes back for part two. I hope he wants to try to at least attempt to do stuff that he clearly wanted to shed a light on, but he just couldn't do it. So they just were like, I guess we'll make this into this for right now. Um,
yeah,
so I still am very happy for the success because I am very curious for part two. I think there is a shot for them to focus on things, but also maybe it's just going to be a wait, we don't need any notes. We made
yeah,
$1 billion. Let's just do the same thing. So that's also my concern is that the critic numbers obviously didn't matter. The 30% or whatever it was did not matter. People
yeah,
showed up, they showed out, they were dancing in the theaters, they were singing along, and I'm happy. I am happy for fans who think it's like a 10 out of 10 or a 9 out of 10. It wasn't that high for me, but just want to at least give it a little bit of a shout out for at least a win this week because
hmm
major L for Disney right now. I don't want studios to fail, but I genuinely want the live actions. I don't want to say fail, but I want them to take a hard, long 5 to 10 year break. Like,
yeah,
take a break, focus on something else. This was making you a lot of money, but now I think this could be a sign. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the next live action will be insane like Tangled. It'll make $1 billion, and then I'll be wrong
Oh,
again.
Jesus Christ.
But
I
you
have
know,
no idea how good that's going to be.
I
That's going to
hope it's good.
be interesting.
I think it has a good director attached. I forgot who, but I'm like, okay,
Mark
well,
Webb,
yeah, I like
guy who
Mark
did The
Webb.
Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, I like Mark Webb. But, so we'll see. But yeah, that's the box office chat. So it's been an interesting week. It's
Yeah,
been a good week for movies, and also not a great week.
yeah. Well, that's going to wrap up today's episode, episode 3, where we talked about Dune. Dune Part 3 trailer, and then we did Evil Dead Burn, The Invite, and unfortunately Moana. So we did. It was great talks all around. But this upcoming week it will be the crowning jewel of the movie world right now, The Odyssey, coming out from Christopher Nolan. I know you're seeing it tomorrow, or I guess if by the day this drops, it'll already be out, or you would have already seen it. You'll be seeing it that day,
Yep, so
and I'm
excited.
pissed about it. So just stop talking about it.
Sorry.
And sorry, not sorry. And don't blame you. It's fine. It's whatever. But I'm really excited to see it. I'll probably see it Thursday. I'm just excited to talk about it, and I'm so ready for the discourse on this movie to be done because it's so annoying. But that'll wrap up this episode of this week. So from Sean and Joseph here, we want to say thank you for stopping by, and we will see you next week.
Peace out.